Hi, Nana. We were learning sulfuric acid. Okay, so the second video of sulfuric acid we will learn today. So in this, we learn first what are the functions of various units of a plant where a plant which is used in the manufacturing of sulfuric acid. So here sulfuric acid is manufacturing. It is manufactured in certain thing known as a sulfuric acid plant. Okay, so in that there are so many parts, there are so many units or else parts. Okay, so in this every part will function differently. Okay, so we learn all those things. First of all, what are different plants or what are different units or else different parts? So it is, first one is blower. Blower. What is the use of blower? What is the use of blower? Blower, it will supply oxygen or air at a pressure of 2 atmosphere. So first unit or else first part of this this manufacturing of sulfuric acid is what? It is blower. In the blower, so what will happen in the blower? This blower will compress the air or else compress the oxygen into under 2 atmosphere pressure. So here the oxygen or else air is present under 2 atmosphere pressure. So now from this blower, this oxygen will move. This oxygen will enter into a burner. Okay, so what is the second part? Burner. Okay, so inside the burner there is sulfide. Okay, there is a sulfide ore or else a sulfur. Okay, burner contains what? Sulfur or sulfide ore. Sulfide ore, particularly pyrites. Okay, pyrites it is a sulfide ore, FeS2. What happens? So as it is burner, so here oxygen is blown into this one. Oxygen, it is blown into this one, hot, which is hot, okay, and compressed. So here in this thing, what happens? This is called as burner. So in burner, what happens? The oxygen will react with the sulfur or else sulfide compounds, and finally it will be that sulfur or sulfide compounds, they are converted into sulfur dioxide. Okay, they are converted into sulfur dioxide. Now what happens? So sulfur dioxide is formed. So this is essential for the manufacturing of sulfuric acid. And along with sulfur dioxide, even oxygen is also present in it, because oxygen is also sent into this one. So that oxygen will react with the sulfur and convert that sulfur into sulfur dioxide, and oxygen is also remained in this one. So now what happens? So here the mixture of sulfur dioxide and oxygen are allowed into the next part or else next unit. Okay, so this mixture, it is allowed in the ratio of 2:1 by volume. 2:1 by volume. It is allowed into a tower known as dusting tower. Dusting tower. So what is the use of this dusting tower? So in this dusting tower, so already these gases, this mixture, it is sent into this one. So from the top, steam is injected into this dusting tower. What is injected? Steam. Steam is injected into this dusting tower. So in this dusting tower, this mixture is present and steam is coming out. Coming into this one. So what happened? This steam it removes the dust. Okay, majority of the dust is removed by the steam from this mixture. So what is the use of this dusting tower? Here in this dusting tower, large amount of the dust is removed. Large amount of dust is removed. Dust is removed. Where? Because this mixture, it contains dust also. So that the large amount of dust is removed in the dusting tower. Okay. So here, so that the dust it will come and settle at the bottom. Now, from this dusting tower, so this gaseous mixture, it is sent into cooling pipes. This gaseous mixture, it is sent into what? Cooling pipes. Okay. From these cooling pipes, the cooling pipe, it is connected to another tower known as scrubbing tower. Scrubbing tower. Scrubbing tower. See, this is a steam, so it is very hot. So that is why the gaseous mixture, this gaseous mixture, they are allowed to cool in the cooling pipe. Okay, in the cooling pipe. Now here scrubbing tower is there. So inside the gaseous mixture has entered into the scrubbing tower. So in the scrubbing tower, water. So from the top, water is allowed to pass into this tower. Okay. So what happened? So water is sprayed. So water is sprayed into this tower from the top. So now this gaseous mixture is present. Okay, from this gaseous mixture, so even this gaseous mixture, it is having some amount of dust. Majority of the dust is removed here only, but if at all some dust is left over, so that dust is removed in this scrubbing tower. Along with the dust, some amount of impurities are present along with this. So those impurities are also removed in the scrubbing tower. So what are removed in the scrubbing tower? Dust, any dust which is left over, that is removed, and also impurities are also removed in the dusting tower. Okay, impurities are also removed in the dusting tower, right? So now this gaseous mixture, it is allowed to test for testing. So here this gaseous mixture, it will enter into detector or else testing box. It is called as testing box or detector. Testing box. So testing box will test whether there are any impurities left over in the gaseous mixture. So now this gaseous mixture, slowly it will enter into the testing box. So in the testing box, it will test. So a light ray or a light beam is passed into this gaseous mixture. So into this gaseous mixture, light beam is passed. So with the help of that light beam, so if there are impurities, those impurities are detected. If there are impurities, what happened? So that impurity again, they are sent back. Okay, they are sent back into this dusting tower to remove the impurities. Again, they are sent back into the dusting tower to remove the impurities. If there are any impurities, again if there are impurities only, it will be that gaseous mixture. Some of the gaseous mixture, it will come back, and again the same process will take place. Okay, until any impurity is not present. So after it is detected that there is no impurity, then that gaseous mixture, it is passed into another tower known as absorption tower. So now the gaseous mixture is passed finally into absorption tower. So here the gaseous mixture which is entering into the absorption tower. Absorption tower, the gaseous mixture which is entering into the absorption tower, it is pure, it is not having any impurities present in it. Okay, next what happens? So before this absorption tower, so there is another tower known as catalytic tower, catalytic chamber. catalytic chamber, or else a contact chamber. It is also called as contact chamber. It is also called as contact chamber. So in this contact chamber, there is catalyst. Okay. So in the presence of this catalyst, what happens? These two will react with each other. Until then there is no reaction between these two. So here sulfur dioxide is formed. So here all this is called as purification unit. Purification unit contains this dusting tower, cooling pipes, scrubbing tower, and the testing box. All this. So they come under purification unit. So now after confirmation of the purity of these substances, finally now these substances, they are allowed to enter into the catalytic chamber, or else we can also call it as contact chamber, where these two substances will react with each other. Okay, that means this sulfur dioxide will further oxidized, okay, by oxygen, and finally it is converted into sulfur trioxide. SO3 gas will come out. So due to the reaction, so where this reaction is taking place? This reaction is taking place. Okay, this reaction is taking place in contact chamber, or else catalytic chamber. So the SO3 gas is formed. So the SO3 gas which is formed in the contact chamber, it is allowed to enter into absorption tower. Okay, absorption tower. So in the absorption tower, so sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid, it is allowed to pass into the into this absorption chamber from the top. Okay, from the top, this sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid, will fall into this chamber. Now this sulfur trioxide gas will enter into this chamber. So what happens? This sulfur trioxide gas will react with concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, sulfur trioxide gas will react with concentrated sulfuric acid, and finally it forms a substance known as pyrosulfuric acid. Pyrosulfuric acid. It is also called as oleum. So oleum is formed. So in the absorption tower, what is formed in the absorption tower? Oleum is formed. Okay. So if there are any other gases if there are any gases which are formed, so if there are any, by mistake, if there are any impurities, those impurities they will convert into gases, and they will leaving in the form of spent gases. Okay. And from here what happens? So from here this oleum which is formed, in this chamber, it will be letted out. Okay, it will let out. It will come out. Okay, right. So what is this one? Oleum. Oleum will come out from absorption chamber, or else absorption tower. So now, okay, now this will lead to another tank. Okay, the oleum, it is allowed to fall into another tank known as a dilution tank. Dilution tank. Okay, oleum will finally enter into dilution tank. So in dilution tank, what happens? In dilution tank, the oleum which is formed here, it will enter into the dilution tank, and there what happens? The oleum, it is mixed with a calculated amount of water. The oleum, it is mixed with a calculated amount of water, so that finally it forms a concentrated sulfuric acid is formed. It forms a concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, finally it forms what? Concentrated sulfuric acid in the dilution tower. That means oleum, when it is diluted, it will convert into concentrated sulfuric acid in the dilution tank. Or else in the dilution tank, instead of water, so even dilute sulfuric acid may also be present. Dilute sulfuric acid may also be present. And this oleum when reacts with dilute sulfuric acid, so dilute sulfuric acid contains water. Okay, that dilute sulfuric acid contains water. So now what happens? Finally, this dilute sulfuric acid, when it reacts with oleum, and this dilute sulfuric acid will convert it into concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, because this dilute sulfuric acid, it is having water in it. So that water will react with this one. Okay, so finally we will get a concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, in this way, these are several units or else several parts which are having different functions in the manufacturing of sulfuric acid. So like this, we can learn different parts. So here, this entire thing, it is said to be purification unit. So purification unit contains what? Dusting tower, cooling pipes. This is called as cooling pipes. Next, scrubbing tower. Okay. Next, drying tower is also present in it. So here, even drying tower is also present. So that drying tower before entering into this testing box, so it will enter into drying tower. Okay, where if there are any moisture, drying tower is also present. Actually, I didn't draw here, but there is drying tower. So that drying tower, this water which is present in this one. Okay, so if there is any water mixed with this mixture, so that water should be removed. So in order to remove that water, so again that drying tower. So drying tower, I am drawing this one. So here from the top of the drying tower, concentrated sulfuric acid is sent. So this concentrated sulfuric acid will remove any impurities present in it, or else any moisture which is present in it, it will be removed by the concentrated sulfuric acid in the drying tower. Okay, so next, after drying tower, see, look here. After scrubbing tower, so drying tower is present. After drying tower, so if there are any arsenic impurities, arsenic oxide. Okay, arsenic oxide is present as the impurity, because sulfur or else sulfide ore, it contains some arsenic as the impurity. So that arsenic will convert into arsenic oxide. So that arsenic oxide should not be present, because that arsenic oxide, what happens? It will poison this catalyst. So here inside the catalytic chamber, so there is a catalyst. What is a catalyst? Already we learned that the catalyst is platinized asbestos. Platinized asbestos is the catalyst which is present in the catalyzed chamber. Or else we may use vanadium pentoxide. Okay, vanadium pentoxide. Platinized asbestos or vanadium pentoxide are present. So now what happens if this arsenic oxide is present along with this gaseous mixture? So what happens? It will poison the catalyst. Arsenic oxide will poison the catalyst. So in order to arrest, or else in order to prevent the poisoning of the catalyst, so this arsenic oxide should be removed. So that arsenic oxide should be removed before the gaseous mixture is allowed for testing. So that means before after scrubbing tower. So I am writing here, first dusting tower. So from dusting tower, it will enter into cooling pipes. Cooling pipes, and from cooling pipes it will enter into scrubbing tower. It means gaseous mixture of SO2 and O2. Mixture of SO2 and O2 are formed here. So that mixture will enter into in this way. Okay, so after entering into scrubbing tower, now we have to send that gaseous mixture into drying tower. Okay, drying tower, and after entering into drying tower, then we have to make that mixture to pass into arsenic purifier. Arsenic purifier. Okay, arsenic purifier. Okay, after entering into arsenic purifier only, finally it will enter into testing box. Okay, so that means here I didn't write these two I didn't mention here. So just again I am reminding you to note it. Okay, drying tower. In drying tower, concentrated sulfuric acid will flow from the top. Okay, and it will remove this. It will remove the moisture present in the gaseous mixture. So that means it will dry. It will dry the mixture of SO2 and O2. Okay, with the help of concentrated sulfuric acid. And next, what happens? So next, arsenic purifier. So this arsenic oxide which is present as the impurity in the gaseous mixture. In this gaseous mixture, arsenic oxide is also present, and we have to remove that impurity. If this impurity is not removed, what happens? This catalytic chamber, in the catalytic chamber, the catalyst is present. So that catalyst gets poisoned, and the conversion of this sulfur dioxide into sulfur trioxide is not done properly. So that means we have to prevent the poisoning of the catalyst. So how to prevent the poisoning of catalyst? How this catalyst is poisoned? Because of the presence of arsenic oxide impurities. So in order to avoid the poisoning of this catalyst, we have to remove the arsenic oxide. Okay, so how to remove this arsenic oxide? So that means this arsenic oxide, it is removed in the arsenic purifier. Okay. Here what happened? This arsenic oxide by sending what? Ferric hydroxide. By sending ferric hydroxide into this arsenic chamber, what happened? This ferric hydroxide will remove this arsenic oxide. Okay, ferric hydroxide will remove this arsenic oxide, and when arsenic oxide is removed from this gaseous mixture, then only it is allowed to pass into the testing box. And again, in the testing box, this will test whether there are any more impurities. If there are any more impurities, again that mixture is not passed into this catalytic chamber, and again that mixture is sent for recycling. Okay, again it will recycle. Again it will test whether there is any impurity. Again the mixture will recycle. So here this is called as recycling pipe. Recycling pipe. Okay. So finally, after confirmation of the impurities are not present, then only that mixture, gaseous mixture of SO2 and O2, it is sent into this contact chamber, where the reaction takes place between SO2. The reaction takes place between SO2 and oxygen. Okay, and finally converted into SO3. Okay, sulfur trioxide is finally formed in catalytic chamber or else contact chamber. So in this way, after formation of SO3 in the contact chamber, finally this SO3, it is sent into the the absorption chamber. Okay, in the absorption tower, what happens? Concentrated sulfuric acid will react. Concentrated sulfuric acid is present. Okay, concentrated sulfuric acid will react with the SO3, and finally it will convert, the SO3 is converted into oleum, and that oleum, okay, finally it is sent into dilution tank, where that oleum will react with a calculated amount of water, and finally concentrated sulfuric acid is formed. Or else in the dilution tank we may use dilute sulfuric acid instead of water, pure water. So here even dilute sulfuric acid also will react with oleum, and finally it converts into concentrated sulfuric acid. So in this way, this sulfuric acid can be manufactured. So in this method. Okay, so this method is called as contact process. This method is called as contact process. Right. Next, we will learn about the properties of sulfuric acid. Physical properties and chemical properties. Properties of sulfuric acid. Properties of sulfuric acid. So under properties, we can learn the properties under two headings. One is physical properties, and another one is chemical properties. Physical properties and chemical properties of sulfuric. So first of all, we will start with the physical properties. So physical property means color. So what is the color of sulfuric acid? It is a colorless liquid. Okay, it's a colorless liquid. Concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, concentrated sulfuric acid. It is a colorless liquid. And if you see, if you smell, so it does not have any smell. That means it is odorless. Odorless. That means it is not having any smell. And if you speak about the taste, so it is sour in taste. As it is an acid, so it is sour in taste. It is sour in taste. And if you see the state, it is a oily liquid. It's a dense oily liquid. It's a dense oily liquid. Okay, or else dense syrupy liquid. We may call it as syrupy liquid also. Dense oily liquid or else dense syrupy liquid. So it will this concentrated sulfuric acid, it will try to stick onto the glass container. Suppose if I put a glass rod in a concentrated sulfuric acid, so that glass rod, this concentrated sulfuric acid will try to stick. Okay, so it will stick to the surface of the glass container. It will stick to the surface. It will stick to the surface of what? Of glass container. Glass container, or else glass. If any glass material will come into contact with the concentrated sulfuric acid, so that concentrated sulfuric acid, it will stick to that container. And one more thing is, it is hygroscopic. It is hygroscopic. Hygroscopic. What is the meaning of hygroscopic? Hygroscopic means it absorbs the moisture from the atmosphere. If any substance absorbs moisture from the atmosphere, then it is said to be hygroscopic in nature. For example, if I take a concentrated sulfuric acid, okay, in a beaker or else in any container. So what is this one? Concentrated sulfuric acid. So now the lid is open. I have opened the lid. So now, so this is the level. This is the level of concentrated sulfuric acid. After 2 days, after 1 or 2 days or else 3 days, if I come back, okay, to look into the level of this one, so what happens? I will find the level of the concentrated sulfuric acid to be raised. So the level of the sulfuric acid is raised. Why? Because this sulfuric acid, it is hygroscopic in nature. As it is hygroscopic in nature, it will absorb the moisture from the atmosphere. Now it is converted into dilute sulfuric acid. Before that, I kept what? Concentrated sulfuric acid I kept. but this concentrated sulfuric acid automatically it has converted into dilute sulfuric acid. So from this it is understood that this concentrated sulfuric acid, it has absorbed moisture from the atmosphere, and due to this what happened, the level of the acid it is raised from here to here. That means now this much amount of acid is present. Now this is no more concentrated sulfuric acid, this is dilute sulfuric acid. So in this way we can prove that concentrated sulfuric acid has hygroscopic nature. Okay, right. Now we will discuss about the other physical properties in the some other physical properties are left over. We will discuss about them in the next video. Okay, na? Bye.